50 Rides on the Love Train started off as a simple exercise in getting ready for the tour. How do you get ready for a tour that is epic and momentous and all of those kinds of colorful words, phenomenal, spectacular? How do you prepare for something like that? In the simplest manner. In the very beginning, it's the smallest, most basic, most primeval step. You sing along with your favorite songs. The same way that you started in your vision, in your dream, your ideal that someday you were going to be on Broadway, someday you were going to sing, someday you were going to be in a band, someday. And there's a million Broadway musicals, there's a million interviews, there are a million rock and roll stories that start off with somebody as simply as singing into a hairbrush. Once you step out of the shower, you're all revitalized, and there's a song on the radio, and you pretend that you are singing the song. Or maybe you don't even need the hairbrush anymore. Maybe you're a professional, or you do air guitar, or whatever. And that's what I do. However, I do it at Henson Studios in the heart of Hollywood, where the heartbeat comes from La Brea and Sunset. Everybody from Mariah to Metallica records out of there. Everybody from Bon Jovi and Van Halen to every Latino act, every kind of blues act, every reggae, you name it, all the movies, the We Are the World gang, everybody is in and out of those studios. And the history goes way, way back to when it was A&M Records, and the history goes even farther back to when it was Charlie Chaplin's studio. Most of Charlie Chaplin's movies were all self-generated out of that one studio complex there. The costumes were designed, it was lit, it was filmed, it was edited. Excuse me. The sets were constructed and built and carpentered and assembled and disassembled right in that space. It used to be the Chaplin Studios. Then it became Albert Moss A&M Records. Think The Police, remember, Synchronicity and those kinds of albums. This super record album company. And then now it's Henson Recording Studios because it is the Henson gang. It is the Henson family. And it's not easy being green. Can't we all relate to that in showbiz? Well, nobody well-adjusted ever got my job, much less kept it this long happily. Happily. It's everybody, you know, it's Miss Piggy and Kermit the Frog and the Muppets and so forth all do their shooting, etc. out there. And that's where I go to do what I call love training. But mostly it's all of you out there from Panorama City to Fontucky, baby. Woo! People all over the world. Join here. Love train. Love training is when you put up Love Train, arguably the best baritone register song. We all have different register voices, and I'm a soul growler. I'm a baritone. And you put up that song, and it has soulful testifying from beginning to end. You can sing the lead vocal, you can sing the background vocal, you can sing the scat, you know, the intermittent, whoa, yeah, the amen corner, as it were. You can sing any one of those three parts, or you can sing them all, and you can sing continuously from the beginning to the end of the song. There really is no solo to it. There's a couple of intros that are intermittent, but otherwise there's a great B part with whoa, etc. And that will test you. That will test your shit to the nth degree, because that's real singing. That's a real classic. And ultimately, what you'll hope to do is starting off with one or two versions of that. That's how you warm up for something when you're singing. For example, when I'm doing actual vocals for the Van Halen album, it's a great example. Then I'll sing Love Train 3-4 times, just to get my pipes working, just to get general soul growling muscles, my spiritual, metaphysical, something intangibles, all get my mojo working. And then you're in position to actually deliver the groceries, I think, as it says in the Torah. Nevertheless, singing live requires exponentially amount more energy, stamina, drive. In a cavalry horse, or a horse that jumps Grand Prix high jump, what is that, 7 feet plus, whatever, we look for what's called impulsion or push. And as a singer, you have to have a lot of push in order to get not just through 2 hours, but to get to the 1 hour mark and then really have impulsion to where you drive from the middle point on, not just keep up or valiantly make it to the end and all, you're whipped and beaten. And yeah, it's great, you know, at the end of a comic book where the sleeve is torn and it's hanging off of your wrist, whatever, and you know, it's all over your face, etc. No, 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 no. You want to have great push from the middle point on to the very end. With that in mind, you start love training. That's just for your vocal. And love training will begin with 2 or 3 runs through the song back to back. The fellas in the booth know to put some reverb on it, the old style reverb, so it sounds like it's from the 60s or the 70s, what have you. And then put it down in the mix, so you really have to you got to be able to, you know, get the push. And you can do that, and just about anybody can do that for a song or 2, maybe 3. The idea is to get up to 20, 25 versions of Love Train in a row with the same amount of impulsion, especially from the midpoint on. If you can get up to 10, something in your mind, something Darwinian clicks over in your mind, says, okay, you did 10, plus 2 for the encore. You're in great shape. No, you're not. People paid you for the midpoint on. Anybody will sing and dance for free from the beginning to the middle, because like porno, no matter what, it's all good in the beginning to the middle. From the middle to the end is why we differentiate and go, oh, okay, this is why I'll stand in line for this movie as opposed to that movie. This is why I will stand in line for this show as opposed to that show. This is just about anybody can get it on from the beginning to the middle. I know, I promise no metaphysics before happy hour. Somewhere it's happy hour. Roth.com, we the bomb. You're listening to The Roth Show.
That's good for tonight.
I'm tired of trying to be someone I know ain't me. I'm tired of living up to what people expect me to be. You know, some people are different now, ain't that crying shame? Now wouldn't it be a real drag if we were all the same? And I'm not gonna try to please eyes that just don't see. If I get myself Love Train is one of the songs that you would play with all the windows down and the top down if you were lucky enough to be in a convertible with 19 other high school kids. Love Train is a song that everybody can sing, no matter whether it's the low part, the middle part, the high part, or what have you. And you can sing it from beginning to end. So if you can get up to 20 versions of Love Train back to back in the studio, then you're ready to start adding in the cardio, which is Latin for got to start dancing. Nobody pays David Lee Roth to just stand there and sort of resuscitate, much less like Bob Dylan, who would tell you that that's not even English. So what you got to do is you got to wheel in the stereo, and you got to be able to sing Love Train and kind of move it and groove it and say it with your own body language, using your knees and your elbows. And you're not just going to do that in the studio. You're going to do that in a variety of places. You're going to do that in dance studios. You're going to do that on rooftops. You're going to do that in the waiting area of recording studios. You're going to do it in just about everywhere, because you can't just wait to rehearse that. It has to become a way of life. Like, You're always going to be dancing. Some folks will reconnoiter this as being hyperactive. Yeah, but there's no attention deficit. We just keep doing the same thing over and over again with aplomb, with velocity. But got ants in my pants. Hey, you want to dance? Ultimately, then, what we do is we just record it on tape. We purchased a bunch of camera gear, things that we use for recording Van Halen, as well as the video work, etc., live stuff, you know, the things that you see in terms of content on the screen that goes on behind us when we're performing live on stage. And we glued together my practice tapes and put Love Train, you know. There's hundreds of versions of me singing Love Train. We picked the greatest hits of it. So, 50 rides on the Love Train. Get comfortable.
Don't go away. We'll be right back with more love, peace, and soul.
People wonder, what happened to terrestrial radio? It's not that it's terrestrial. There's tons of radios that still contain, you know, everything that has satellite still has what's there from terrestrial, from earthbound or whatever you call it. It's the way it's being presented. When I did what I still consider the Stern Show, because I never actually earned the turf, never owned the turf. The reason is they wanted another Howard Stern, which Howard is gold-plated. You don't want to duplicate that. Well, you're going to go out and imitate De Niro, so everybody goes, wow, he's almost as good as De Niro. It's not really a career. It's not even really a job. You're going to go out and imitate Mick Jagger so that everybody goes, wow, it looked just like Mick. Not quite, but almost. I guess you can earn a living at that. What's the old story of Lenny Bruce, the comedian? There was a fellow named, I think his name was Von Meter. He was a comedian who made a great living at imitating President Kennedy during the early 60s, like 1960, 61, 2, somewhere in there. And they had a number of records that if you Google them now, whatever, that you'll see is called First Family comedy records. Comedy records were huge. Put a record on, you know, they play the part of, you know, Jacqueline Kennedy, Jackie O, and President Kennedy, and the assistants, and the chef, and the black maid, and the Jewish butler, and, you know, everybody being a cartoon, you know, everybody making fun of the First Family, and so forth. And Von Meter, I believe was his name, was the guy who always did President Kennedy and the Kennedy voices and stuff. So Lenny Bruce, the comedian, the very dark, the very downtown sub 14th Street bohemian, you know, really, really downtown cat. On the night that President Kennedy was shot, he was shot in the afternoon during daylight. That night, he had to do a show, Lenny Bruce did. How do you do a sold-out show downtown, like in Greenwich Village, New York City, on the night that a beloved president, this wasn't like, you know, a president that everybody hated. This was somebody, for right or wrong, or in the middle, everybody kind of dug. He walked out on stage and said, wow, Von Meter was reflecting on Von was out of a job. I don't know what that has to do with anything. It has something to do with it. You'll have to rewind. I will. I'll be right there with you. Roth.com with a bomb.
Tom and Dave, no one can hold a candle. Nothing else is quite the same.
If you listen to the Groove channel on XM, number 50, that's the sound of baby boomer rock and rollers at a pool party. Anywhere where it's warm enough to actually get away with having a pool party. It doesn't matter if you happen to know who Shalimar is or Earth, Wind, and Fire, because every girl in the room will go, oh my God, I love this song. Whether she absolutely loves that song actually or not is beside the point. And if this is called the Elvis paradigm, which was called the Sinatra paradigm, preceding to that invention of the Elvis paradigm. This is called the Earth, Wind, and Fire paradigm, whereby if the women in the room love Earth, Wind, and Fire, you love Earth, Wind, and Fire. Don't pretend you don't get this, fellas. Anyways, an automobile is nothing more than a way to transport your stereo. And you get the best possible stereo because girls like the boom. Girls like when there's boom going on. You follow? And it doesn't matter if it's Kool and the Gang or 50 Cent. It doesn't matter if it's old Marvin Gaye or if it's brand new Rihanna. Boom, boom, like the beer in your glass, you know, when it goes like this, boom. You got to feel the boom in the room. And playing the kinds of music that you do, you know this from high school, those of us who are lucky enough to have a car or know somebody who did, more likely, is that you put all the windows down, or in the provident climate where you can put the whole top down and be convertible. Then you allow the girls to hear what it is you're all about, because all art, all demonstrative, all demonstrated art is autobiographic, particularly when you don't want it to be. I don't know why that works that way, but it just does. It's the miracle of science. And the beauty of science is that it's still true whether you believe it or not, so stick with me here. So when you're driving past high school, and school just let out, and you are playing a certain kind of music, you are speaking to the world, and in an effort to communicate with everybody watching you drive by, you have selected the appropriate tunage. And that's the same as when you do talk radio. This was my assumption. This was our working theory, is that regardless of if you spoke English or not, it's almost beside the point. In fact, it may even be better. Sort of like when you hear something cool in Japanese, you don't care what it means, it just sounds cool. That wasn't Japanese, that was Mexican. That was what I had for lunch. Let's see, we're already, ping-ponging around the globe, and that's so very fucking international, which is sarcasm, and that hails back to our first episode. You taking notes? Don't bother, I'll keep you refreshed.
Okay, friends, let's everybody take your positions, please. Here we go.
Counting
6,
down.
5,
Counting down.
4, 3,
Where's Dave?
2,
Somebody want to wake up Dave?
rolling. Dave!
Whoa, what's up with the flathead blow dry? I look like Frank and Lee Stein. I'm so fucking adorable I can barely stand myself.
Hey, another spectacularly captivating world premiere video. You can't take your eyes off of it, and you can only see it here, live on Dave TV.
In the 80s, big hair was how the male signaled to the female that they could afford unlimited Quaaludes. Don't ask, Mom will explain later.
Cut it!
Cut it. Thank you, Dave.
Dave, forget about it. What can I say, Mr. Roth? Isn't he great? Forget about it.
David, you've got charisma.
Huh? Great, Dave.
David, my kids will simply kill me if you don't sign a good thing for them.
Forget about it, Dave.
The suit that I'm wearing at the desk, the giraffe called. He wants it back.
Now if I could do a video, the crowd would love me. Hey, you in the red. Yeah, you. There you go. Nah, I wouldn't do it like that at all. I do it just like this.
I'm just a gigolo, and everywhere I go, people know the part I'm playing. Pay for every dance, selling each romance. Ooh, what they say. There will come a day when youth will pass away.
I love these shoes. A pair of custom Magic carpet rides in a perfect size mine. I've been around the world and across the 7 seas in these kicks, and sometimes against my will, an inherent problem of Magic carpet shoes.
People know the part it's playing. Pay for every dance, selling each romance. Ooh, what they say. But there will come a day when youth will pass away. What will they say about me when the end comes? I know it was just a gigolo. Life goes on without me, 'cause I ain't got nobody. Nobody cares for me. Nobody cares for me. I'm so sad and lonely. Sad and lonely. Want some sweet mama come and take a chance with me, 'cause I ain't so bad.
As wardrobe goes, sartorial choices like these don't just happen. They're cultivated, slowly and meticulously over many, many cocktails. Cocktails of all formats in all types of glasses. Use your imagination.
Boozy, boozy, bop, city bop. I ain't got nobody. Nobody cares for me. Nobody. Hey, say. See that so. Wow, see my little Lord, baby. You got it, baby.
I watched these and thought, wow, I was into that fashion or style or whatever you called it, and then I thought, wow, I launched that fucking style. On the other hand, I had nothing to do whatsoever with muffin top mall fatties and belly shirts and jeggings.
I ain't got nobody cares for me. Nobody. I'm so sad and lonely. Want some sweet mama come and take a chance with me, 'cause I ain't so bad.
This is the look that got me the Renaissance Fair gig.
Even on the beat, Johnny on the beat, get it low, so, darling, mama, baby, city, got nobody I love, say now, nobody cares for me.
Three, two,
Position.
rolling,
Roll tank.
Dave!
Whoa! How about that for rock video music fans? Live all day, all night. We know what you need. Only right here on Dave TV.
If you like history, You would love my house. This house comes from a time when Lindbergh was just trying to get across the big water with a thermos of coffee and a sandwich, which is, funnily enough, what they serve you again on regular international flights. And hey, that's not too bad. I actually made that up while I was walking.